Of course, now I got that song going through my head.
Alrighty, well, good day. My name is Brother Chris, and my colleague is...
The Gypsy Lady, Eva. Hello, everyone.
Hey. So we were just talking before we went live about people that just passed away recently, actually, in the news. So the one actress still that played in The Shining, she just passed...
Shelley Duvall.
Yeah. And she was in a recent movie before she passed away. She was actually a little bit more heavier in weight. She had her tooth, though, that's well known from The Shining, was more damaged, but she's actually in this movie. The boy from the old TV show Elf also passed away. And who else was it?
Dr. Ruth. Or Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
She was young, though, what I would say.
Yeah, 96.
Oh my gosh! So, yeah.
And I have to laugh. I looked up just to see if what they had to say, and it ended the article by saying she passed away quietly in her sleep of natural causes. And I'm going like, she's 96.
Yes, but what's natural causes? She used to talk about sex quite a bit. Oh my God! So, but besides all that, how are you doing, Eva?
I am doing fine. Been a busy week for a change, and but a good week.
Yes.
Been a good week.
Yes. It's been busy on my end. We're now changing things here at Divine Oracle Podcast. We're no longer going to be found on Spotify. We're going to be found actually on Podbean. You can see the logo just underneath Eva, kind of. So the logo is right there. We're still underneath the same name, Divine Oracle Podcast. We have a new image which is launching today here underneath this stream. And yeah, so we've got shows all the way lined up until approximately the 10th of August. And these are all of our past shows you can catch back. But don't forget, every Saturday pretty much up until the 3rd, we're actually here live. Pretty much, and yeah. So, is that great news, Eva?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it sounds like there's already been reactions to it, good reactions. Yeah. People are starting to pay attention, which is good.
Yes.
I think.
Well, it is going to be good.
They'll recognize me when I walk down the street. I'm not sure I can handle that.
Yes, but don't worry, Eva. We're still going to be here underneath YouTube, and also we're all underneath Podbeam. So, but we're going to be, like I said a while ago, we're going to be doing some certain changes. So get ready for all this.
The times they are changing.
Yeah. Well, we'll be right back after this quick commercial.
This arts and craft market at the Stratford Park Museum. 57 vendors showcasing handmade creations for the community to enjoy and purchase. Organizers say the goal of the market is to bring cultures together in peace and celebration while also exchanging knowledge.
Listen to Haunting Live on Podbean, where your host Trevor and Brother Chris from Divine Oracle Podcast sit down weekly and discuss about topics within the paranormal. This is a live call-in show that we encourage you to take part.
Alrighty, so we're going to be doing topics, and this one here is a continuance actually of last week's show. And the week before, though, what we did those, we talked about top 10 Native American monsters, legends altogether. Now this one here, again, the second part, and it's actually top 10 American legends / monsters. So Eva, have you come across any of those that we've talked about?
The Wampus Kitty and the Skunk The skunk ate ape in. Oh boy, I am not talking today.
Skunk ape, yes.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, yeah.
And the rest of the that we have here, I have not heard about.
Okay.
I haven't even heard about, much less, the Slender Man. I'm not too sure of. I've heard of it,
Yeah.
and they say it is actually an internet sensation type thing. It was created that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not really sure.
All right. So the first one we're going to look at though is a Lelo Roa. Sorry if I had said it wrong. Eva, you got the proper pronunciation if you want to let people know what the name is.
Oh, I did. La
Yeah.
Lorana.
Yes. Yes.
It almost sounds Spanish, doesn't it? Well, it is in the Southwest.
Yeah. So basically though, this legend though it's of a lady though that actually drowned. It says 2 of her young sons, but what I've heard though, it's of a lady that was drowned, 2 of her children. So one was a boy and one was a girl. It's different than the legend though that's in the movie The Conjuring. It's different than Bathsheba. It's totally different than her. But with this legend though, it's well known. She's well known to be around water and coming back actually to find her children. A lot of people have heard her crying. And again, those like what Eva said, though, she's actually found within the southern states. You hear the whipping actually of a woman, and it's in Spanish. So yes. Anything else you want to add about this one?
Well, it just goes to show to men they shouldn't be wandering around other than with your own woman. Terrible things will happen.
So true. So
In
true.
fact, that's how I didn't know. I haven't heard it as La Lorano, but I have heard it as the crying woman or the weeping woman.
Yeah.
Heard it as the crying woman, and that's one of the things that they used as an example that men should not stray. This is what can happen, and they used it. Actually, there were other rather horrible things that happened to the man. It's like, oh, yay.
That's like casual. But yeah, no. Again, though, the legend has it though that she's actually drowned her children, and she's always trying to find her children. There's a movie actually of this story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just came out a couple years ago. It was actually in the box office, and you can find it underneath Netflix if you do have Netflix. So it's found underneath there. But the thing though is, again, though, it's of the story of a Spanish woman though that actually got upset, and she drowned her kids, and she's been looking for her kids. So.
One of the variations that I heard is that her husband was wandering, being with other women and that sort of thing. And out of a fit of desperation, she drowned the first boy.
Yeah.
And her husband came back and stayed with her a while and then started wandering again. So she drowned the second boy. And that's when she realized this man was not really worth her efforts. And that's why she wanders around looking for her sons and weeping and crying and wailing and, the whole ghost thing.
Yeah.
And looking for her sons to apologize and ask forgiveness. I don't know what happened to the husband, but.
So you heard 2 boys, but I heard a boy and a girl. That's the way I've heard it. So yeah.
Well, in the Spanish culture, the sons are far more valued than daughters. Type thing. I may get into trouble for that one.
Well, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like so yeah, that's one of them. The next one that we're gonna go to though, Eva says she's come across this one here, so I'll let this one go to Eva, and I'll actually add my comments to it. But go ahead, Eva.
Well, the one I am actually I only heard of the skunk ape as the skunk ape just recently, probably within the last 5-6 years. But I had heard of the southern, or what was the name? It was a Bigfoot, and it gave off a horrendous, ugly, blech, kind of smell, and you could always tell that he's coming around because you can smell him. And supposedly people have actually seen and smelled him. And he's basically just kind of a Bigfoot that wanders around Florida, particularly in the Everglades area, which is a rather mysterious place to begin with. So who's to say?
Yeah.
And I don't know how it got to be called a skunk ape, except I think, from what I remember reading, that he has 2 stripes like a skunk going down his backside, his back. And I said, well, that's good as long as it's not yellow. He laughed. And I said, and then we said, well, don't go to Florida because he'll look you up for that one.
Yes. It's like I saw.
Okay.
Well, what I've actually heard from people, he does smell like garbage. But the garbage odor smell is 10 times worse than actually rotted garbage. He's been actually spotted, like what you had said, though. He's been spotted by a lot of people. But he's been spotted in photos through the tree lines. So.
I'm sorry?
So he's been spotted through the photos in the tree lines.
Yeah. I've not seen any of the photos.
So, and also though he's not like Gatorland, like the Florida skunk ape that they actually have there as a mascot. It's not like that guy there, but this one here does not speak, does not do any tricks at all, does not do anything. But again, there's a lot of people who actually found the skunk ape. He was just there quiet. Alright, so the next one they're going to go to, though, is called the Donkey Lady. A lot of people have seen the Donkey Lady and Rez, which is one of the movies, though, that's actually on Netflix, I think it was. But it's to do with a legend to do with a lady that has donkey hooves. They say it's found actually within Texas area. It's down in San Francisco.
San Antonio.
Thank you. But yeah, it's found in that area, and it is a native spirit, more or less. Now, with this lady though, if there is wrong, if you know that you've done something wrong, if you have hurt somebody or violent or whatsoever, you better watch out. She's coming for you. She's driving in the movie. She does drive a vehicle, but you can actually tell it's her just by her hooves of her feet. So she does come out that way. Again, you got to watch out for her. She does fix up everything wrong. It's a great story about her, even within the movie. But yeah, anything else you want to add, sort of, that's on the footnotes?
Well, what I had read, not only here, or in the ones that you gave me, but as I do kind of look these things up just to see if there's something else that's interesting. And the one that I read is she was actually cursed by her children. Excuse me, because I can't remember exactly, but she caused the 3 children, 4 children. There was more than 2, and they cursed her, and that's why she has hoof-like hands and hoof-like feet, is because they cursed her with, and the devil heard and changed her into this, and that he also melted her flesh so she looks horrible, and the children were rescued by angels, and if you look on her back, if you get a chance to, you'll see the image of a set of wings, supposedly. And I thought that was fascinating. Just the fact that she has both the devil and the angels in her, or on her, or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, she does terrible things to people who do terrible things to people. As part of her punishment, if you want to call it that, and I don't know why she killed her children.
I've never heard of that ever in my life. Right?
Oh,
I know the article says that, but for an Indigenous person myself, I've never heard of it that way.
You never heard of the donkey lady?
I've heard of the donkey lady,
Oh.
right? But I've never heard of her doing damage to children.
It's kind of interesting. When I do some of the research on this thing, you like I say, you give me the notes, so I kind of go look them up. And the thing is, it's like, okay, the donkey lady is centered around San Antonio.
Yes.
If you move to one direction, like into New Mexico, you get a whole different, well, I shouldn't say whole, but you get a different aspect of the same legend. And you go to the other side and you get a whole different, because then you get into the swamp type things, like the bayou stuff.
Yeah.
And still kind of the donkey lady, and the reason they call her donkey lady is because her face had melted and formed like a donkey face. At least that's what I have read. I just find it fascinating.
Yeah. That
these legends are kind of consistent, but everybody kind of makes their own little adaptations to it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's sort of like our next one, like our next topic.
The Wampus Kitty, or the Wampus Cat.
Yeah.
Can I don't know if I can say this, and if I'm not supposed to, Trevor can shut my mouth. He can just shut my mouth. When I first was going through this, I saw Wampus Kitty, or Wampus Cat, and there's a song by a gentleman, a country gentleman, well known, Ronnie Collins, I think is the name. I have to go look. There are times when I just don't remember things. It's this heat. And he wrote a song called "If You Can't Bite, Don't Growl." And in one of the choruses, he sings, the woman says to the man, "I'm a wampus kitty, a mean mama, and if you can't bite, don't growl." And I read that and I just kind of laughed because it fits. So anyway, that's a little story.
Yeah. Let's say, but do you want to let people know sort of more about?
I'm sorry. It's a creature, and it kind of looks like a half cat, half woman. Aren't we all a little cat? Was it Catwoman that was in Batman?
Yes, Catwoman. Yeah.
She has glowing yellow eyes, which is interesting because many times they're red, and fangs, and uses claws, and she kills animals, kidnaps kids, and terrifies the neighborhood. And it does prowl in the northern Tennessee. Now, I had heard it different areas, but I never heard Tennessee. But that's okay. It just says in that area. And although the creature has been spotted in Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, and other areas in there, and also in and around the University of Tennessee, Knoxville area. And they claim that this creature lives in the sewers, which gives it the bad smell. And I have not, other than the song, I've never really heard of a Wampus Cat.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe they just typed it wrong and it should have been Campus Cat.
Well, you never know. Well, look, isn't one of the teams down there a cat?
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be campus cat.
Yeah, it's a half cat, half woman, like I say. But aren't most of women's have a little bit of kitty in them?
So
They can purr. They can take your eyes out.
yes, yes, especially when you do wrong. So our next one that we're gonna look at though is the Slender Man. So Slender Man though it
Oh,
was created by the internet.
yes.
And I forget when about this is. It basically started in 2009 time period, but I know it was
Yes.
before that time period. And one legend though has it though that the Slender Man is supposed to be basically all white, has a black suit on, and it stands roughly 10 feet tall. Yeah, what they've said. There has been incidences. One though is to do with a young child. Basically, I don't know if she was in grade 7 and 8 or grade 9, something like that. But anyway, so she had problems herself, and this went to court. Directly went to court. I know it's not on the footnotes, Eva, but it went to court, and things had happened though. She invited two of her friends over to her place. She basically was told from this creature that is created by the internet to actually commit suicide to her friends. So she was charged actually as an adult. It went to court, and yeah, she was actually charged big time. So that's one legend though, and some people say though that they've actually caught photos of Slender Man, but whenever they caught pictures and video, well basically video, I've started watching some of the videos actually online, and I can't see this creature at all. What they've created. There's a movie. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There is a movie actually out there called The Slender Man that you can watch. But again, it's all Hollywood.
I know it's Hollywood, but ooh, it scares you.
It's like us.
They mention in this little article that two 12-year-olds tried to kill or almost killed one of their friends by stabbing her 19 times to please the Slender Man.
Yeah.
And I know I have read several articles of especially young women who do things, really bad things, to people because they said that they were influenced or influenced by the Slender Man. And it's like, well, I suppose it could be, but it just, I don't know, it's just really weird.
Yeah. And again, go ahead.
And well, the one thing that they were saying is that this is a real creature. It is out there. It's been out there for a long time. And yet there's this gentleman from Florida who says he created something on the web.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? I mean, it's like, is it or isn't it?
Well, Ray, we were just asking a question off this side about the one guy that used to be actually doing Pepsi commercials. Max Hedren.
Okay.
All right. He was created also on the internet.
Yeah, but he was a good person.
Yeah.
And you knew he was not real.
Yeah. So.
And people claim to have actually seen the Slender Man. So, is he real or isn't he?
Yeah. Well, it's funny though because like, how come we don't see him up in our areas?
Well, maybe it's too cold.
So.
That's supposed to be a haha.
I'm laughing inside. I bet our listeners are listening. So yeah, let us know what your feedback is about these creatures. Again, that was last week though what we had talked about. If I go back to my beginning of the footnotes, and goes back. So last week we talked about Bigfoot,
Chupacabra,
the Jersey Devil,
Mothman,
and the Wendigo.
Oh, indigo.
So, what we've actually noticed though is within some of these creatures also connect with the Indigenous,
Yes.
right?
Well, Wendigo is definitely a Native American,
Yeah.
or I should say Indigenous. I keep forgetting. Please forgive me.
It's alright. It's alright. For some of the people that are Indigenous, they don't mind saying Native American or Native. So, but yes,
Can I tell you a little story about the slip ups like that?
go right ahead.
My father's sister, Aunt, well, we called her Aunt Ann, of course, and she was in the hospital, and she was later in life, and one of her aides or something, I can't remember, but she said this colored man. Now, you don't call them colored men or colored, you don't call them colored.
Yeah.
They're African American or all the different. And the remark was made to this gentleman, we apologize for our aunt. He goes, don't worry, she's from that era where that was what we were called.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother me. So I just had to throw that in.
Well, go ahead.
Well, it kind of goes with the same thing. I mean, I was brought up, we called those Indians or Redskins, heaven forbid.
Yeah.
And well, then it changed to this and to this, and now it's at Indigenous, and it's like, please, just don't. You're blowing my mind out.
Yeah. Well, us Indigenous, we've always been called Indigenous, right? Until white man came over and they started calling us something else. They started calling us Native because we were native actually to Turtle Island at first.
Well,
but yeah, I don't want to be going preaching.
Well, so. I remember talking about the Native American tribes, Native American nations.
Yeah.
And I was told those are tribes, not nations. And this was from a teacher. And I'm going like, I know that's not right. That's not the way. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
But I didn't argue because I didn't want to get a bad grade.
But yeah, no, those are top 10 American Monsters, Slayer Legends, though, altogether. But yeah, one thing I did mention at the beginning, though, I've been always telling people who my spirit guide is. Her name is Marie. And just recently, I was looking up, because we're going away comes August 3rd to the 9th. So we're going to be playing some past shows in that time period. I need Spotify. Sorry, not Spotify. Oh, there, I said it. Yes, I need Podbean, which you can always listen to any of our shows anywhere underneath there. But yeah, in between that time period, we're going to be going away right where my family's originally from. So we're originally from Moose Factory, so that's northern Ontario. Georgian Bay area. Then we moved down to Warren, Ontario, which is outside Sudbury. Some of the family did move over to Sturgeon Falls. Now, Sturgeon Falls, my father's always said to me, though, that our family's from Sturgeon Falls, Warren area. I started looking up family history and found one stone, which, again, I've never told anybody who directly of the ancestor 100%, like saying to the people, all right, 100%, this is true and everything else. But I've always been told spiritually, since us spiritual mediums, psychics, are gifted, we get in contact with our spirits, we get in contact with our ancestors. So again, I was told from her that her name was Maria. I looked up the history, found her stone. She's actually buried in Sturgeon Falls, Ontario. We're going to be stopping off there. My biological grandfather, and my dad's side of the family is buried there. But there's a full list of everybody with last name LaRock. But I was always saying to myself, how can we be buried right where we're supposed to be buried, and it's a Roman Catholic cemetery, right when we're not Roman Catholic, we're Indigenous. But but then all of a sudden she started yelling at me and saying, "Oh, that yeah, she's buried there because of being put into the schools." So.
Sorry, that was just such a bad thing on the Indigenous children.
Yeah. Yeah. But what would you say? Go ahead.
You and I have talked about that, and again, I started doing a little bit more looking into what it was all, and as bad as it was bad there in Canada, and it was just as bad over here what they did to the children.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it just so upsets me.
Yeah. Yeah. But
and you want to hear a really bad one?
Go right ahead.
I'm not really sure where it was, but if the children didn't do what they were supposed to, they would start cutting off a little bit of the finger.
Yeah, which is true.
Oh, how could they do that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I still, you can tell I'm upset.
Yeah. But how would you say to people, all right, again, though, she's told me directly, though, that, yeah, her name. Then all of a sudden you go and find the cemetery, and there's her plot.
That is cool.
So, yeah, I had to tell Trevor right away, and definitely we're going to... Go ahead.
Is Trevor Indigenous?
No, unfortunately he's not, no.
Okay.
I'm the only one that's Indigenous. But yeah, I just found it's pretty cool though, especially like you being told from the spirits, right? And you keep on telling people, and all of a sudden you find the actual truth, right? Though that yeah, she's actually buried there. So
the only thing that I would have to say is that it was cool that she became your spirit guide.
Yeah.
But it's even cooler that you would find where she's at.
Yeah.
Her earthly remains are at. That just, wow.
And she passed away.
I don't get stuff like that.
She passed away in 1872.
Ah.
So. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and I think it's cool though because I was born in '74, and talking about '74 comes this coming Thursday, which will be the 18th. Now I turned 5 years old, and Eva just turned how old?
Well, 29 with shipping and handling.
Yes. So.
No, I turned the big 7-5.
So she turned 57. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's still
that's not too bad.
What I say though, it doesn't matter how old you are. It all depends on how you feel and think. Yes. So.
Well, is it Dick Van Dyke? Yes.
Yeah.
He is in his late 90s, and he says what he has to do is he does a little dance every day. And I'm looking at this man, and I'm like, I'd be so afraid of breaking my hip.
It's like that's a.
But then again, he's done this all of his life.
Yeah. Well, from us to you, we do say thanks a lot for tuning in. Again, though, check us out underneath Podbean, underneath the Divine Oracle Podcast. We have a lot of great episodes there. We're going to be comes fall. Even I had talked about this underneath Podbean, though. Directly, you can call in to shows. But we're going to be launching that comes this fall. That you will be able to call in to us underneath Podbean. Tonight, though, I will be underneath HauntingLIVE podcast. Check out them. They're underneath Podbean. Also, that's PODBEAN. It's a free app though that you can actually upload underneath any of your tools, so that I actually have the App Store on it. Again, though, we do say thanks a lot for tuning in. You guys have a good one.
And have a great week, and thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
This arts and craft market at the Stratford Park Museum. 57 vendors showcasing handmade creations for the community to enjoy and purchase. Organizers say the goal of the market is to bring cultures together in peace and celebration while also exchanging knowledge.